One of the most interesting visuals in the Bible is when the Lord stood on a wall in Amos 7:7 with a plumb line in his hand, proclaiming to his people that he was setting it in the midst of them and would not pass by any longer. We, of course, know that this plumb line is the righteousness of Christ come to redeem the unrighteousness of humanity. It's pretty hard to achieve anything without understanding what standard to go by. If you think about it, there's pretty much a standard for everything. Unfortunately, we humans have a tendency to not be inspired by a measuring rod, instead running from the responsibility to be measured against it. Very often we would prefer to whittle our own device to be measured by, one that's closer to what we look like, so the stretching and changing won't be so strenuous. Like with our children, we're tempted to move that standard so the doing is easier. But the God of heaven has no choice but to righteously follow his own standard. Letting anyone into heaven that doesn't meet that standard would cause havoc, because one drop of imperfection will contaminate the whole and turn it from pure to putrid. We know that this is why Christ sacrificed himself and justified our eternal security through his own righteousness. Those who don't recognize their sin and try to stand before the Lord without Christ will tragically be turned away from the gates of glory. In the Old Testament, the standard was external, written on tablets made of stone. But as the Lord said he was leaving a plumb line for his people in Amos, Jesus said that he must go, that the Counselor would come to dwell in us, where the law of God instead would be carved on one's heart.